Merry Christmas, everyone. Jay Sherling with the American Veterans Tribute Organization, and today we are certainly honored to have our 2013 honorees, Brian and Angie Pearce, who live just outside of Richmond, Virginia, and are certainly just wonderful examples of service to our country. And Brian, just a little background on him, has gone through injuries back in 2006 from his service overseas that has created traumatic brain injury for him and post-traumatic stress that he has gone through, and his spouse Angie certainly has. Together they have more than a decade together of living with this post-traumatic stress, and we wanted to talk today about the holidays and what post-traumatic stress can do, and just give you guys an idea of exactly what the holidays can mean to someone with post-traumatic stress. Maybe the Pearces can give you some ideas of just how to better make it through the holidays. We know that post-traumatic stress doesn't have a cure, but certainly there are ways to live with it and certainly improve your life with it. So we welcome Angie and Brian, and guys, I want to say Merry Christmas to you, and thank you very much for joining us today. How's it going?
It's going good, I think. This has been one of the better Christmases we've had since I got hurt.
What's made it better, Brian? What do you think? What do you think has been the improvement?
Zoloft.
Understand? No, I understand, but seriously, let's talk about because the holidays are stressful anyway because you've got family together and everybody's trying to buy presents, and it's stressful anyway. But with someone with post-traumatic stress, I can imagine that there are some triggers that happen that can either kind of get you on the hypervigilant side of angry or disassociative, where you just don't want to be around any family.
Well, for me, this year I figured out that I need it. I'm getting better about withdrawing myself from situations or conversations that I don't like or is just bothersome to me, and I think that goes along with what I've said before. Each person gets better on their own, and it takes that person to realize when they're ready to get better. And I think it's still I'm still in that phase, but this year is better for me, where I can see, okay, this is something I need to remove myself from, and I'm able to get away from it a little bit. And it helps also having a dog.
Sure. Now, do you mean by that, Brian, you're saying that you have been able to understand situations that kind of trigger you, and you're able to avoid those situations? Is that what you're getting at?
Right. Yes.
Angie, what does that do for you? You can see situations, and you probably see them before he does. Do you kind of help steer him clear of those?
Yeah, usually this year it has been, like Brian has said, has been a better time for the holidays. I have noticed he does seem a little more distant, but that usually happens around the holidays anyway in this time of year. But what we have just discovered, that for him, being around particularly his family and going back to Ohio, it just doesn't work for us. So it's better for us to do smaller things here and don't make a big to-do out of it, make it a very small family affair. We kind of rotate around whether we go back to Ohio where we're originally from and spend time with family, or if maybe for one holiday, like for Thanksgiving, my mom and sister and her 3 kids came and they were here, and that was pretty tedious and tiring for Brian because they were here the whole time, whereas if we're home by ourselves, he can get away from it. So we just chose for this holiday to stay home. We have some friends that are here in the local area that we're just going to go have a laid-back, no expectation Christmas. So,
what do you think, guys, is the and let's talk about someone who might be early on in their experience with post-traumatic stress, and a family is getting together maybe for their first or second Christmas, being all together after serving in a foreign area. What do you think are some hints that people can take away from your experiences? What could you offer in some ways of just some things to keep an eye out for, or just some tips that you guys have used yourselves?
Go ahead.
Well, I think from my standpoint, as from the spouse's standpoint, it's very, even in the earliest stages, to be very open with family members, you know, just so that you can get it out there and say, you know, you don't have to be completely direct, use what you want to your discretion, but it's very important that you let everyone in your circle know, hey, I'm dealing with this. There's going to be moments where I may have to leave. Don't take this personally or offensive. This is what I have to do for me in order for me to be able to tolerate. Brian and I kind of worked out, once we figured out, I could see Brian gets certain facial expressions. His demeanor changes a little bit when things are agitating him. I can account for that and say, hey, Brian, it's time for you to take a time out. Go do what you need to do away from the family. And I've just finally discovered, if people get pissed off or upset, oh, well, that is their problem, because you need to deal with what you can handle, and who cares what anybody else can handle. As long as you take care of you and yours and know what's going on for you, it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And it takes time to get there.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, Brian, are you able now, after a few years of dealing with post-traumatic stress and you know, getting a medicational regimen, having your dog with you, and being at home, being more, I guess, integrated to home life now, have you found a nice place during the holidays?
Yeah, my problem is that before I got hurt, I was always the extroverted person. I was always the one that was out there. I was out there enjoying the largest things, and more was better. I tried to keep doing that after I got hurt, and I found that it was causing more friction than it was not. And now after 7 years, I figured out less is better. And I think that's better. I think that's pretty much the thing for everyone. I mean, there's no PTSD and brain injuries. There's no one size fits all for everyone. But I think that's pretty much common across the board. Is less is better, and just like Angie said, take care of yourself and enjoy yourself and enjoy those that you're with at the time, as opposed to trying to worry about what everybody else is doing 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, great advice. And I wanted, go ahead, Angie. Go ahead, sure.
I'm in several different kind of spouses groups on Facebook and stuff, and different ones have said they've kind of just tried to learn to expect, and plan it out. And if they make the plans and decide, okay, yeah, we're going to A, B, or C's family, and then at the last minute, you know, I can't handle this, that you have to learn to when to say yes and when to say no. If it's too much for you to handle or your spouse to handle, then it's better to say no and upset somebody's feelings than to get there and have a full-blown PTSD moment that embarrasses everyone or causes conflict that does not need to be there. So
that
I think
makes complete.
the biggest.
Less is more. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. No, I understand that completely. Let's talk about this time of year. Also, is you think about family, you think about giving back, you think about, you know, a lot wrapped in the holidays, but also missing family or missing friends or missing people that you served with can also be a big drag on someone emotionally. And Brian, I don't know, we've never really talked about this angle of post-traumatic stress, but I know that people who have served and have lost buddies, have that guilt factor that they have to deal with as well. How would you suggest people deal with that of missing people and feeling guilty that, hey, I made it back and my buddy didn't?
To me, what has helped me is the fact that I can easily find something that I do or don't do that everybody that I miss liked. Whether it's a certain type of music, whether it is a certain quote. Yesterday was the anniversary of one of my real good friends. He wasn't in the military, but he died a year ago yesterday. And so his big thing, he always wore bib overalls. Yesterday I wore my bib overalls, and it was just a subconscious thing that I did yesterday. I got up and put on my bib overalls because I missed him. And you just have to find a way to honor and be happy about the times that you had together. And that's what's worked for me. And like I said, with the PTSD and the brain injuries, there's no one size fits all. I mean, the other guys are going to find other things. The only thing is just don't sit around and cry in your beer, and because that's just going to make it worse. I mean, it's just going to make a long day and a sad day even worse.
Guys, I'm back with you. I think we lost you for a second. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Let's go ahead. You were saying that you had a friend that passed away, Brian, year anniversary yesterday, and you were talking about a quote. I think it's some music that reminded you of them, and that's how you kind of heal and grieve yourself.
Right, and that's pretty much with everyone. I mean, just try to find something that reminds you of the happy things that you remember about them.
Brilliant.
As opposed to
Brilliant.
the sitting around and crying in your beer. I mean, because that's just going to make a long day even worse and a bad situation even worse.
Yeah. How can you support, Angie? How do you think spouses can help support that? What would be a way, talking with your spouse about that friend they lost, or?
I think that can help. I also think you kind of got to let them grieve in their own way and don't be force yourself the issue with it. Let them, when they're ready to talk. It's just like with the Alive days that, after somebody's been injured or whatever, everybody celebrates them differently. Some tend to just not acknowledge them at all because it was a bad time. Some choose to acknowledge. I think you and your spouse and your family has to kind of figure out what works for you and not worry what everybody else is thinking, because it takes time to heal. And so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think for the caregivers too, a lot of people don't understand. Myself, I suffer with secondary PTSD, just from Brian being injured and everything that I've had to endure through this. And I think for me, a big loss around the holidays and stuff is missing my military spouses, not from death or anything like that, but it was a family, and a lot of people, military will understand, but a lot of civilian will not understand the camaraderie and the family. It's a different type of family with the military. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of caregivers suffer with the loss of their friends.
Yeah, completely. Because that's so important. That's a support system in itself.
Correct.
That is certainly very important. Yeah, to the military way of life. Absolutely, guys. Finally, I wanted to ask you. There's so many holiday traditions that families create, that extended families have. would you guys say, Brian, and I guess let me start with you, would you say that traditions maybe change for you, or you try to create new traditions around this time of year because of your change with post-traumatic stress? Is there or do you like to relive traditions that you've probably been doing for years?
Well, no, I think this whole the entire time since I got injured has been it's been a rebuilding process. So not only for me and my health, but for me as a dad, me as a husband, and what I do to help the kids and Angie realize that, okay, this is another year. It's just another year. It's all about celebrating where we're at today, and where we've come from. And that's really basically all I've concentrated on doing. It's been a lot better the last couple of years.
Great. Angie, I know that you talked about family, that there's some family that it's harder to deal with at the holidays just because the relationships changing and what have you. But what's your take on, how are the kids doing this time of year? Do you see a vast improvement in them because dad is home and improving all the time? And what's your take on the children in this time of year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's ups and downs, and I think it depends day to day. As far as us, we really never had any big traditions that we did. I think sometimes it's hard as a military family to have those typical Christmas traditions that you have because you're not always in the same location, or you can't be able to go see family. I think the biggest difference is that we do have a choice now what we do for the holidays, whereas before it was a little bit harder. We were, depending on what the military told us at the time. So we just kind of play it year by year what we do. And I think probably this year has been the easiest year. A bigger problem for us with not only does Brian have the TBI and the PTSD, but he's legally blind. So he's not able to drive. And so that brings even more challenges for us. Because Brian has a harder time dealing with, well, I need to buy gifts and all of that. How do I do that without you knowing? And I think we've kind of got it figured out, but like I said, it's a work in progress.
I understand. It always is. I mean, holidays are always changing. I think today with what we've got with the military families and so much military actually coming out of Iraq and getting back and reintegrating in civilian life, there is a lot of change. I think, Brian, what Brian said about, it is not a tradition thing, it's a year by year trying to improve and making the holidays better. So I really find that that's an amazing way to look at it. Well, tell me, what are you guys going to do for Christmas? Are you staying home or are you going to go on the road?
No, we're staying home this year. Jordan, our oldest daughter, now has a boyfriend, so that's fun, So I think his family is going to come over and they're going to exchange gifts on Christmas Eve and just do something little. And then for Christmas Day, we are going to drive down to Petersburg to our other friends and just have that laid-back low-key, non-traditional Christmas. We're actually having prime rib for Christmas and not turkey or ham, which I absolutely love because I'm sick of turkey and ham.
I understand completely. That sounds great. Well, guys, we are thankful for you and your openness and willingness to talk with us about this. And you guys are a great just story and a great success. Brian, congrats to you, and Angie, congrats for keeping the family together. I know that if anyone has seen anything we've done in the past, they'll know that Angie is a fire plug, and we all just think the world of her because of just the effort and the time and it takes a lot to put up with Brian. I can say that because I know Brian personally, but no, it is a great family, and we look forward as we continue to build AVT to to continue to talk to the Pearces and everything else. And I wanted to let everybody know that we are on the web at a-v-t.org, and we welcome you to visit our website. You can reach out to us on Twitter at AVT.org. If you have a question or want to reach out to the Pearce family, you can do that, hashtag AVT, or also hit our Facebook page at facebook.com/AVT.org, and it's all there on the screen. So we just we're thankful for you guys for learning about AVT. We're certainly thankful for the Pearce family and their time to join us today. And guys, Merry Christmas to you, all the best, and we look forward to having a great 2014, and look forward to Happy New Year to you guys, and all the best.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
Y'all take care.
Merry Christmas, and tell everybody we said Merry Christmas.
You bet. We will. And have a great day, okay, guys?
All right, you too.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for watching, everybody. This is the American Veterans Tribute. We appreciate your time.